The following program contains adult language, poor taste in jokes, racial slurs, political slurs, slants, and all sorts of things that, if you are sensitive and have a delicate constitution, you should probably go watch Teletubbies. You were warned.
I ain't drunk, I'm just drinking.
But you're so high.
Oh man, you know I ain't high.
But you're so high.
Yeah, well I just take a little sip every now and then.
But you're so high.
You ought to be ashamed of
Stay
yourself.
drunk all
Oh,
the
come on now,
time.
you all don't feel like that.
Bam! Hey kids, welcome back. Excuse me. Doing a rant, and I know I haven't done anything on video since the last rant, but it's been busy. It's been, my mom came down for the weekend because it was my baby girl's birthday, so Smoking Hot Wife puts me on quad restriction during those times, and last week was just busy and whatever else, and I'm still waiting on that fucking Armaton frame to come. Good God, I could have went and got a CNC machine and made it faster. I might be doing the campfire frame build here tonight or tomorrow for you guys, just because I'm fucking sick of waiting for that Armaton crap, which we all know I don't like Armaton. But anyway, and there's a certain select of you that don't like the fact that sometimes I use my long intro. I have a short intro, I have a long intro, and then I have a really long intro, which is the one that you just saw. And the reason I did the long intro on this one with the whole warning, blah, 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 is because there's going to be some fucking cussing in this one. Now, while I'm doing this rant, I'm going to get rid of... I made this canopy with my 3D printer for my campfire quad, and I'm going to devein it while we're talking. But something that is very important that is coming up is they had a meeting, congressional meeting of the aviation subcommittee. I don't know if that's congressional or not, but you know, whatever. It's government bureaucratic bullshit, right? So a couple of my friends have been pushing this towards me last couple days. Dude, watch this, watch. And I just haven't had time, right? Man, I need to change that setting. So today I sat down, my buddy Graham out in England sent me another link to one of my favorite web pages, YouTube pages, and Bruce Simpson, UAV Futures, sorry about that, Bruce, RC Model Reviews, and I watched it, and it's basically about the aviation subcommittee of the U.S. trying to basically ban the fucking hobby. This is not the whole register your quad and all this other bullshit. This is, let's reprise or reprieve, pull back Section 336, which is basically saying those of us that want to use, what is it, G-rated, not G, I got notes, believe it or not, Class G airspace, which is, you know, the 1,700 feet and below or something. Don't quote me on any of this stuff. I haven't watched the whole thing, but they're basically the commercial drone people that want to make money delivering fucking pizzas and delivering shit for Amazon or whatever it may be. They basically want us out of the fucking way so that they can make a buck. And mind you guys, there's a couple of things I want to say here first off. First things first is, if you're not into quads and you're just into airplanes, rock and roll. You're fucked too, because this goes for any unmanned radio-controlled aircraft from what I understand. And I love planes just as much as I love quads. And yeah, so there you go. That's going to get screwed. So the next thing you guys need to think of is, if you're sitting in England, like a lot of my friends are, or Scotland, which a lot of my friends are, or wherever you may be, you better pay close attention to this, because if the United States does this, you guys are going to do it too. Canada, you guys, everybody. They're talking about putting radio frequency transponders on things, which I don't even think it's going to get to that. I think they're just going to ban it. I really do. I think they're just going to ban the fucking hobby, and damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm going to put a link in the description to Bruce Simpson's website or YouTube channel, and you guys can look at it on there. Plus, I'm going to put a link in the description to the actual subcommittee meeting. It's 2 hours long. But what I'm getting at is these people, these fucks, these bureaucratic fucking, they need a good cunt punt. For one thing, none of them in that room, and there's two chicks, and this is not to be sexist or anything, but there's two chicks. There's one, I think, a redhead or something on this end of the table, and there's a blonde broad on this side of the table, and they're the two really saying the most of this stuff. And the blonde chick, she said, I think she's representing the commercial drone community, really, which is basically the fucking DJI people, big fat fuck you to DJI, and all those folks. And then the broad on the left, and females, please don't take offense. It's just, I'm just pissed off. The chick on the left is I believe the FAA broad. And neither one of them know what the fuck they're talking about. And nor do the men. Not one of those fucking people have a leg to stand on when it comes to knowing what they're talking about. Now, another thing that I really, really want to push to you guys, because I have a lot of airplane friends, RC airplane friends, and real pilots, actually, and those of you that are airplane guys, a lot of you are members of the AMA, the American Model Association, I believe is what it stands for, which is basically, in my opinion, a fucking union for radio control people. And I'm very anti-union. Sorry, you guys that are unions. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. If you are in the AMA and you're in the radio-controlled hobby, whether it's airplanes, whether it's quadcopters, helicopters, hovercrafts, whatever the fuck it is. Hang on, I need a road twister. If you're in the AMA, stop. Pull that $80 a year or whatever it costs to be in that fucking waste of time. Pull it out and send them an email when you do. It's like, you know what? You guys weren't even there. And trust me, they knew about it, guys. AMA is a whole lot bigger than you think. They're not just some little 20-man club sitting down the road. These fucking cats knew this was going on. They weren't even there to represent us, to say, hey, you know, modelers are responsible. We're mostly, you know, nobody dies from drone attacks. Nobody dies from airplane crashes, whatever. It's just absolutely fucking ridiculous. I don't know why any of you pay AMA dues. I really, really, really don't. And you guys that are my friends, or even if you're not my friends and you're in the AMA, please drop me a message on this video and let me know why you do this. Because I've got a little field, and I love planes. I'm not nearly that great at them, but I've got like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, 10 of them. And I've got a radio-controlled field, literally walking distance from my house here. And they don't know I'm alive. I don't know they're alive. JJ Roto Geek, and that is the WACO, it's WACO, in Troy, Ohio airfield. And they have really cool stuff there. They have biplane rides, and they have all these things. It's this little tiny grass airstrip. And I thought, well, it'd be kind of cool to join up with these people and be able to go over there and fly and this, that, whatever. And then after I looked at the dues, you had to be an AMA member. Right there, I'm out. Number 2, you had to be a member of the Barnstormers Association of Troy, Ohio. And then there was some other thing. You know, it's like by the end of the day, it was like $150 a year to go fly to grass strips. Like, okay. Or I could just in my travel stop at some abandoned building with a nice asphalt parking lot and fly there. I don't know. And I think that's a big distinction with quad guys versus plane guys. Us quad guys, and I am known as a quad guy, obviously. The quad guys, we, you know, just fly fucking anywhere. And AMA airplane guys are a little bit more snooty about it. I don't know. But I'm sorry, I'm off track. I'm pissed. If you belong to AMA, get the fuck out. Let them tank. They're in, what, Kokomo, Indiana, my home state. And because they weren't there to represent us, nobody from the hobby field was there to say, no, this is this, this is this, this and this. And I know it's 2 hours long, and I know it's stupid bullshit, but if nothing else, watch Bruce Simpson's video that's also in the description down there, because he cuts out some bits and bobs that are really good to watch and listen to, and you don't have to suffer through the whole 2 hours. And he brings up great valid points. But, I mean, these people are so stupid. I mean, first thing they were talking, some dude mentioned, well, the RF that the modelers are doing, radio frequency, has been known to, we think, screw up the autopilot in airplanes. Big airplanes, real airplanes. Okay, no. For one thing, if you know anything about a fucking airplane, autopilot is not on under, 5,000 feet, something, I mean, a obscene amount, right? Not too many of us are flying our quads or airplanes. This is everything, not just quads. I don't think too many of us are flying that many thousands of feet up, because if you're flying 1,000 feet in a real fixed-wing airplane, you do not have autopilot on, because that is damn dangerous, and you're sitting there doing it by the stick. So right there, that's negated. Number two, autopilot is a computer function. It is not controlled by the airport or air traffic control or anything like that. So how radio frequency, and maybe if there's some real pilots out there that have done 737s and real planes with autopilot, you know, maybe educate me, maybe I'm wrong. But I work in the aerospace segment of the world quite a bit, and I fly a lot, and I know a little bit about airplanes, and yeah, that's bullshit. And here's the other point that I have to make. If our technology on our planes is that susceptible to something so trivial, 2.4, 5 point, you know, whatever gigahertz we're running, right? Double-digit gigahertz. If your plane can come down from that, you've got bigger fucking problems. You've got really big problems, because anybody can get in their airplane, or in their car, put a booster in there, and take down a 747 with a fucking Tyrannus QX7? If that's the case, if I'm proved right, which I won't be because that's bullshit, they're just using this as an excuse. I strongly suggest to any people that travel for a living like I do, do not ever get on a fucking plane again, because that is exceptionally scary. Terrorist attacks, whatever else. And the other thing, here's the other big fat how the fuck do you do thing that one of these chicks said. She's like, well, we want to regulate it 250 grams. Again, here we go back to the 250. What the hell? Where did this 250 grams bullshit come from? Really? So, you know, now it starts this race that everybody has to build something that's sub 250. Okay, for one thing, I hate to tell you guys, I have got a huge P-51 airplane in this garage, right? It's gigantic. It's a very big bird. And it takes the same radio frequency, the same controls, everything that my Mocha JJ takes. Exact same thing. Actually, my P-51 Mustang even has GPS in it, has compass in it, well, it doesn't have a compass, but it has barometer, has flight controller, has all this. It actually has more shit in it than my Mocha JJ does. So, riddle me this, Batman. If I take a Mocha JJ or a fucking huge-ass P-51 radio control airplane that weighs way more than 250 grams, and this weighs way less than 250 grams, how is there a danger difference? Because the whole thing they were harping on wasn't collisions this time. They're doing a new tactic. It's radio frequencies and knowing who's in the air, in the confined airspace, and transponders and all this other stuff. So, how does that differ in a sub 250 versus above 250 grams? It's ridiculous. If you're going to cry, radio frequency fucks everything up, and we're scared of radio frequencies. Now, mind you, this is the commercial drone people saying this, which makes it even dumber. This is not FAA saying this. Okay, if that's the case, my little Mocha JJ flies just as high, just as far, and believe it or not, faster than my huge P-51 that weighs way more than 250 grams. Really? So that right there blows a huge fucking hole in their whole radio frequency, well, blah, 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 blah. It's a joke. You can take a tiny little bird, like this guy here. He's kind of in pieces, right? Look at this guy. Bam. That is the exact same frequency and range as my big-ass P-51 or my Spitfire or my whatever the fucks, you know, my wings and all sorts of stuff. So then they start clamoring on about transponders and all this other stuff. It's like, well, you know, in this, you know, G-rated airspace, we have to have transponders in these drones. This is, again, the commercial drone bitch saying this. And it's like, okay, so basically, they're, from what I understand, they're wanting us to put an RF transponder in there saying, okay, well, if this drone's over here and this drone's over here, this drone that is owned by Amazon or whoever, the government, whatever, can see the transponder in this one and say, hey, that's JJ RotoGeek. If we get crashed into him, we're going to sue his ass. I guess that's what their thinking is. I think it's stupid. Here's what's going to happen. And you might have noticed I put a prohibition picture on this movie. That's what this is. It's like gun control. It's just one more bullshit thing. Gun control, kids, whether you're for guns or against guns, guns are here to stay in America and any country that already has them. I don't give a fuck if you ban them or don't ban them. It's like drugs. You're never going to get rid of them. They're here. Guns are here. And it's prohibition. It was the same thing. What happened? Alcoholism spiked, alcohol production spiked, and the prices spiked, and the mafia spiked, and the black market spiked. That's what happened with prohibition. Or anytime you talk about banning something that we already have. Look at guns. When that fuckstick Obama said, hey, we're going to ban ammunition, which I give him credit for. That was clever. We're going to ban ammunition. You can have all the guns you want. You just can't have anything to shoot out of them. What happened? Do you guys remember what happened? 8 trillion people went out and bought every piece of ammo in America that they could possibly fucking find. It was awesome. Walmart was out. Ammo shops were out. All these places were out. And that's what's going to happen with this. Do you think, for 1 second, that the JJ Roto Geeks of the world or any of my buddies in Patriot Blades or any of my guys on YouTube, any of them are going to stop flying if they say, well, we're going to ban Section 336, which protects modelers? No, what we're going to do, if we see this coming, we're going to buy every fucking receiver we possibly can until they ban them. I'm going to buy every XM Plus I can get my little hands on. I'm going to spend $5,000, buy every single one, so I am secured, and I will be able to build birds, fly birds, until I'm probably fucking sick of it 5 years from now or whatever. That's what's going to happen. Nobody's going to stop. What are you going to do? Not put a transponder in your bird? Yeah, pretty much. Look at FAA. They got fucked. They came around and said, hey, everybody has to register their quad that's above 250 grams, right? Okay, fine. So a lot of us did. Even I did. I am registered, mind you, because I wanted to see what would happen when I did. I never even got the fucking certificate in the mail. I did get a number via email, but they were supposed to mail me something. Never got that. Paid $5. Who cares? $5, But then the FAA got sued because of, I can't even remember what it was about, something about releasing public information and stuff like this. So now it's not even a matter of licensing shit. Now it's a matter of, let's just do away with it. Because we already got our dicks kicked in with the whole register your quad thing. And nobody even gets hurt with quads. Nobody gets killed. I mean, if you get hurt, it's your own fucking fault. Most people that I've seen from a quad injury, the dumbasses were calibrating ESCs with props on or something. And I've done it, and we get cut up, whatever. But not too many people are getting face rebuilds and plastic surgery from, their buddy's quad flying into them. It's absolutely fucking ludicrous. It's ridiculous. It's not terrorism. That's how they're playing this off. It's like, well, and now mind you, if you guys watch this, not this, but, the committee thing, the biggest gripe is actually not coming from FAA. The biggest gripe that I saw is actually coming from the commercial drone end of it. The DJI people, the Amazon people, the Domino's deliver a fucking pizza, and I'm just throwing that arbitrarily. That's where most of this is coming from, and then FAA is coming in on the coattails of that, saying, hey, that's a great fucking idea because we hate everybody and we're government, and that's just how it works. It's absolutely stupid. Now, the thing that I want you guys to remember in other countries, and I have a lot of friends in other countries in this hobby, is, and you're all thinking, oh, the fucking USA, you guys are screwed, man. You're blah, 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 blah. No, sir. Pay attention. If the United States does it, not saying we're better or we're great, that has nothing to fucking do with it, but other countries, when we make a reg, a lot of times other countries copy them because they think we know what we're doing, which we do not. This is 100% taxation without representation. There was no, I mean, it's not, you know what I mean, it's a play on words, but there was nobody representing our side. There was no AMA people there. There was no Bardwell's there. Yes, I gave him a plug because he's on our team too. A lot of people are. There were no JJ Roto Geeks there. There were no any Psycho Patriot Blades club members there that would just go, or Mr. Arby's that would, probably bring a gun and shoot people because of this. And you should, because this is crap. This is just like when this sounds trivial, and I know I'm ranting and I'm rolling on. I'm going to get off this in a minute, but this is how pissed I was when they made seatbelts mandatory. I know that sounds really stupid, and I wear a seatbelt, mind you, but it's the fact that, this is what bothered me, it's principle. It's the fact that I need the government to tell me, hey, you have to put the seatbelt on to save your ass, and we're going to make a law because we don't think you are smart enough to protect yourself. Really? Really? And I said this many years ago. This was in the 90s when that happened, if I remember right. I lived in Indiana, and I was in high school. And I remember I got a ticket because I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and I, told him to fuck off. Not the cop. It's not the cop's fault. But, I made a stink about it. But it's like that. It's like you are so fucking ignorant that we have to make rules for you. And that's just one of a million things. And it was like a downhill slide from there, from the mid-90s down. It's just like, well, we have to make a law for this, we have to make a law for that, because people are so fucking stupid. And a lot of them are, don't get me wrong. But people are so fucking stupid that we have to cradle school you fuckers saying, oh, you have to wear a seatbelt or you'll die. Helmet laws, don't even get me fucking started on helmet laws. It should be your choice. In that regard, it's like, come on, it's a basic thing. Same as this. It's like, okay, fine. You find somebody that's flying a bird over Fort Knox. Here's a good example. I drive by Fort Knox all the time. Fort Knox, Kentucky. And I would just give my left nut to fly over that with a quad. Or a bird, a wing or a plane or whatever the fuck it may be. I would pay a lot of money to just, because it's Fort Knox. I mean, I've seen it from a distance. It's neat. You can drive around. It's all fenced in. It's really cool. But it literally says, point blank, anything above, beyond, inside the gate, outside the gate, you will be fucking shot. It's like Area 51, right? Because we all know there's no gold left in Fort Knox, but there's all sorts of other weird crap, and that's not even the point. I don't want to do it to spy. I want to do it just because how cool is this? I just flew around Fort Knox. That's neat. It's like that. I would love to do it, but I'm not going to do it. Why? Because I'm afraid of getting shot. It's the same thing as, flying around an airport. Trust me when I say, if I take one of my birds, I don't care how big or how small, and I try to fly around Fort Knox, they will find me. They will get in their fucking four-wheelers or their super UFO things. They will come and they will just insert big old probe in JJ Rotogate's ass, and that's going to be the fucking end of it. What I'm getting at is most of us are smart enough to not do bridge dives, fuck you, Roto Riot, with people driving their cars on them. Most of us are smart enough not to dive skyscrapers when there's people down below walking their fucking dogs or playing with their kids in carriages. Those people should be shot in the fucking head. Or not really, but they should be banned from the hobby. I totally agree with that. But you don't hear about that a lot. And I think you did in the beginning, maybe a year ago or so, because it was kind of the cool thing to do, rebel and do all this other stuff. But realistically, everything that these people are talking about is just bullshit. And all this is the commercial drone community is wanting airspace control over what the hobbyists have for free. That's exactly what it is. And mark my words, if they don't completely ban 336, okay, Section 336, which is what protects us hobbyists, they will amend the living fuck out of it, so they might as well have. I'm telling you right now. So here's what I would suggest you do. Write a congressman, send an email to everybody you fucking know. Seriously, government-wise. Make it just a quickie, 2-sentence thing. You don't have to be brilliant to do it or articulate to do it, just do it. And if you're a member of AMA, fuck them. Get out of that union. They're a joke. And tell them why. Don't just stop. Just say, tell them fucking why. Like, you know what? I'm going to go fly my airplane in a field where there's a nice dirt road where I can take my bird off from because y'all suck. Do it. We're going to get banned from this shit, guys. And you're going to see prohibition all over again for those of us that are rebels. And then you're going to see a lot of people probably just give up because they don't want to get in trouble. And other countries, mark my fucking words, are going to follow suit. I'm telling you right now. So, That's it. I didn't even descale my hood, my thing. Isn't that cool? Got a little skull. I'm gonna put LEDs in the eyes. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Anyway, we do have some stuff coming up this week. I'm sorry, I got a really cool far view thing to review for you guys or to go over. We're gonna do a build video and maybe a couple other things. One of these days I'm gonna get my ass in gear and sand that boat down so we can get that finished. But other than that, sorry, I just had to get this out. Love you guys. Bam. Let me know your thoughts. Please make a stand, because obviously the only way we're going to do this and win it is if we all hook up together. So keep your shy side up. God bless. Take care.